Welcome to the Bulldogs Coaches Show, featuring Howe Athletic Director and Head Coach Zack Hudson. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Joe Brown for Grayson County District Attorney.
Coach, after that last week win against Gunner, you have to feel that this team is now battle-tested from here on out.
I do. A lot of the same players from last year, so we felt like we had a lot of experience taking the field against in a big game, and I do feel like that's the best team that we have beat since I've been here. From my experience. So they are battle tested, and they've been just about every situation. So I was proud of them. They got the job done.
It seems like the end of the game, the defense really stepped it up. The ball was kind of put in their hands to win the game, and Jacob Taylor came up with a big play at the end to make a sack. Talk about the defense and how they responded to that situation.
Well, I think our kids play hard, and I don't think it's one situation or another that makes them play different. They're going to play hard. Sometimes they're in a better position to make a play than others, and just by what people are running. And so at that point in time in the game, we knew about what they needed to do to try to win the game, and so our kids were able to kind of pin their ears back and go get them. And Jacob, been playing linebacker all year, but he does a great job at defensive end. He played there all last year, and we were able to put him in there with some kids getting banged up. And once again, we have someone step up, perform, and it seems like that happens every week.
In this day of fantasy football and everybody watches college football on Saturday and the balanced offense like that, and you hear things in the stands about the slot T, how do you sell that to a fan base? Even though you win almost every game, still people say you need to balance your offense. Talk about that, and how does that even work?
Well, I mean, in my opinion, you have to take what your kids can do best, install that, and try to get the most out of them. And so in our opinion as a coach's staff of the guys that were hired and the guys we brought in, it's our opinion that we are doing the best that our kids can do. We are trying to put a product on the field that our kids will be successful with. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But we feel like that's the best thing for our kids and the kids of Howe right now. And it changes by personnel. Sometimes you're going to end up with some real good quarterbacks and good receivers and things like that where a spread offense can come into play. But, right now our kids are tough. They're kind of a hard-nosed group. And it also allows us not to have such big linemen. You don't have to have such big linemen in the slot T because of the misdirection. And, saying that, it just fits us pretty good right now. And some people don't understand it, and that's okay. But as long as we keep winning, it'll be all right.
Now, what you've been able to do with that philosophy and with that team has been able to only lose one game so far, and you've put yourself as front runners for the first time really in a long time here in Howe. Talk about the position of front runners and what that does mentally to the kids.
Well, I mean, you got a target on your back, and our kids really aren't used to being there, and so it is a little different for them. They're going to have to learn how to handle that and know that they got to come out every week and perform, that you're not going to sneak up on anybody. So that's a good thing, and our kids need to feel that right now. And, we hope we get better every week. That's our goal. Every week is to get better. We take one game at a time, so, we practice for the teams we're playing. Saying that, we're just trying to make sure when we hit a run that we're ready to go.
We'll take a quick time out and let Grayson County District Attorney Joe Brown tell you about his campaign.
It's a great place to live, and it's a place I want to make better. We have a theater here, we have a symphony, we have all of the amenities that make this a great place to live. How do we continue to progress as a community while still holding on to those conservative values that we grew up with? And it's a question that I ask myself. After 15 years in office, it's not just a job. It can't be. Megan and I have decided to raise our kids here. We're invested in this community. When I think about my older daughter playing sports, my younger daughter in theater, and think about what their life will be, I want them to have the same great experiences that I did growing up. And I want them to know that their dad did everything that he possibly could to keep this community safe, to make it a great place to grow up. Grayson County is growing. There's no way to deny that. And with that comes the opportunity for progress. Together, we can make sure it's the kind of progress that a community as great as ours deserves.
Coach, let's talk about Tom Bean, your opponent tonight. What kind of offense are you going to see from them?
You're going to see a pro set most of the time, kind of like you do on Sundays. You're going to see some tight end under center, and you're also going to see some shotgun. I think they'll run two back quite a bit, but they've had a lot of injuries this year, and so it's kind of hard to tell exactly what they'll be in. It's hard to tell who's going to be there. In each position, they kind of have had to flip positions a lot just due to injuries. So it's going to be one of those games a little different because they haven't really found their identity due to all the injuries they've had. So, but you're going to see some pro set, you're going to see some some spread, and most of the time they're trying to run the ball. So.
Being 5-1, Tom Bean 1-5, you think the kids coming off of a win last week might be off an emotional high? How do you sell that to the kids? Is it one game at a time? Do you preach that to the kids?
Absolutely. Every practice we go to, every meeting we have, we're not looking to anybody else, and we don't put film up of our next opponent. We take the film off of the opponent we faced last week. So. Every week is like that. We're focused on Tom Bean. We got to get this job done because, if we plan on, playing for a while, we got to keep beating people.
I know you talked about it a moment ago, having a target on your back, and there is no more underdog, and everybody, I guess, is going to give you their best game from here on out. Would you say?
Absolutely. And we're the people everybody's trying to take down, and that's okay. And sometimes it's better to be in that position than the other. So. I'm proud of them. Our kids have put themselves in this position, but we got to fight to stay there.
This has been the Bulldogs Coaches Show featuring Howe Athletic Director and Head Coach Zack Hudson. The Coaches Show is brought to you by Joe Brown for Grayson County District Attorney.